Hello everybody, I hope you all are doing well. I'm Kajuju and this is a deck check. I'll be giving you straight up gameplay and impressions of how well each of the various games work on the Steam Deck. So I will be going over the controls, graphics settings, battery life, and what I had to do to get the game to run, and whether I would prefer to play this game on my PC or on the Steam Deck. I won't be doing any sort of deep dive into the performance or hardware of the Steam Deck itself. I will leave the performance overlay on for FPS for you to observe as we go through this deck check. Timestamps are provided for you to get straight to the part that you are interested in, so be sure to check that out, especially if you just want to see gameplay with no commentary. So, let's get started. The game we are checking out is Digimon Survive. Digimon Survive is a hybrid visual novel and tactical RPG set in a mysterious world filled with dangerous monsters. This game is a visual novel first and the tactical RPG second. So you will spend a majority of your time reading through dialogue and observing the scenery, similar to games like Ace Attorney and Danganronpa. You are given choices in this game that actually affect the story route and whether specific Digimon will evolve into one thing or another. I won't get into too much since that would be spoilers. All the game footage you will be seeing is the first part of the game, so no need to worry about heavy spoilers. The gameplay without commentary segment of this video does have spoilers for what Digimon is in the game and what they may evolve into. The game was released in July of 2022, and at the time of this recording, the game's deck compatibility status is unknown, which means the game has not been checked for compatibility yet. The controls for this game are very simple. During the visual novel segment of the game, you are simply just pressing one button for the dialogue to proceed. During the tactical RPG segments, I didn't have any trouble navigating the controls since they all seem very self-explanatory after the first tutorial. This game does have an official controller layout, but it seems like the left and right button triggers are incorrectly binded since I could not switch to map view or activate my phone camera when I needed to in game. I had to rebind those buttons to the keyboard input for them to work. Another noticeable issue was the game UI for the controls. You may have not noticed, but the input prompts in the menus are just blank white boxes. Seems like the game doesn't recognize or at least have assets to put what symbol goes to what for the Steam Deck. This was especially a problem during the initial hours of the game since I was pressing every button to see what does what, and hopefully it does what I'm looking for. Overall, the controls do work well on the Steam Deck. It is just annoying that there was some initial issues, especially annoying that the white blank boxes showed up for all the button prompts. But the controls are very simple for the game, so it was easy to remember what button did what without looking to see what I needed to press. The game does not have any sort of preset graphic settings since it is just a visual novel game. During the tactical RPG segments, I didn't notice any noticeable drops as well. In terms of graphics, it is pretty straightforward for this game. I pretty much played this whole game with 60 FPS solid. Maybe it goes down to a little bit of 50s, but it really is not intensive of a game in terms of graphics. I didn't really have any sort of graphic related issues while playing this game on the Steam Deck. So let's make a mention of battery life for this game. So do keep in mind that battery life is dependent on your device's overall battery health, as well as other aspects such as the screen brightness, the FPS limit, and other options found in the Steam UI's profile for games. So in my case, I played the game with about a middle brightness setting and 60 FPS, while everything was pretty much the default setting in the Steam profile. I ended up with about 4 hours of battery life, which felt like the right amount for this game before I wanted to take a break from reading so much. You could probably get more from your battery life for this game if you decide to limit the FPS and mess with the Steam profile settings a bit more. I just prefer to play this game at 60 FPS and leave everything as it is. So Digimon Survive is a visual novel game first and a tactical RPG game second, but it is very cozy for the Steam Deck. One of the main issues that showed up during the initial release of this game was that any in-game movies that would play would just crash the game, and this was very prevalent on Windows and Linux operating systems. But since I was recording footage for this video, it seemed like they have fixed that issue. The controls for this game are very simple, but you may need to make your own edits in the game's controls for the Steam controller configuration in case buttons are not working as they should. Even though the game is unable to show me the exact button prompts for the Steam Deck, I was still able to remember all the prompts since it is the same throughout the entire game, and there is never a moment where you needed to somehow do like a quick time event. So overall, I think that this game is fun to have on the Steam Deck, especially if you enjoy visual novel type games. I will warn you that if you are expecting a Digimon game to focus on raising and taming monsters like Pokemon or Monster Hunter Stories 2, you will be very disappointed. This is a visual novel game first, and the tactical RPG aspect of it gets tiring very quick. So only play if you are interested in the story. The actual gameplay loop will not stick long for most. So let's wrap this up. When it comes to whether I would prefer to play this game on my PC or on the Steam Deck, I found it much more enjoyable to play it on the Steam Deck. This is a very cozy story game to play while relaxing in bed or on the couch. Even with all the initial issues, I was still able to finish the game and enjoy the story from it. But let me know in the comments down below if you think otherwise, or if I missed anything you'd like to see for the next video. I'll leave some gameplay after this outro for you to watch if you just want to see gameplay without commentary. The gameplay part is from a free battle from later on in the game. It won't spoil the plot, but it will spoil what Digimon is in the game and what they may evolve into. So, if you want to support the channel, consider leaving a tip, which will be linked in the description down below. Just remember to read the disclaimer before proceeding. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and until then, I will see you all later. Goodbye.
Yoし、俺が行こう。絶対に勝つんだ。ヤタガラモン、すべては整った。よし、俺の番だ。俺に任せておけ。
私が動こう。
よし俺の番だ
俺に任せておけ。